Now, there's been a lot of talk about big-name NFL quarterbacks maybe being on the move this offseason. Now, we've heard this before. A lot of times, it's only smoke. You know, everybody gets all hyped, and then nobody moves, and everything stays exactly the same. How many times have we lived that? Except not this time, not this year, because the L.A. Rams. Because there is not an organization under the shield that operates quite like the L.A. Rams. In fact, I would say at this point, I'm not sure there's an organization in all of professional sports that operates like the L.A. Rams. And I couldn't respect it any more than I do. Couldn't be any more fired up for it than I am. I'm here for it. The reason I say that, they're all in every single year. I love it. Last week, I'd mentioned the fact that things did not seem all that great between the Rams and Jared Goff. In fact, things actually seemed like they sucked between the two sides. Yeah, I know. Saying something sucks is not a take. But when given the chance, neither the head coach nor the GM would say that the former number one pick overall, a guy who was in a Super Bowl only a couple of years back, was a lock to start next season. And, in fact, that if they didn't move him, he would have to beat out a former minor leaguer to win that job. So that's not a very good sign, right? So, yes, it's pretty clear there was evidence that things did suck between Goff and the team. Pretty clear that Sean McVay and Les Snead had seen enough and experienced enough of Goff that they were looking to move him. And so they did. And holy crap, what a deal that is. Matthew Stafford is coming to L.A. in exchange for Goff, a first-round pick in 2022, a first-round pick in 23, and a third-round pick this year. And yes, the technicality is that deal can't be officially made until the start of the new league year on March 17th. But that doesn't mean that we have to wait until the middle of next month to talk about it, because we don't. And I've got a thought or five on this one, starting with the obvious. The Rams were so over Jared Goff, so done with Goff. I mean, D-U-N, done. I go back to something that Golden State Warriors GM Bob Myers said on this show a while back. You may think that every pro team wants to win, but that's not the case. Really, not every team does want to win. In fact, there's only a few that are really willing to make the sacrifices necessary to win big. I mean, it sounds counterintuitive, right? Like, why wouldn't every single owner be in it to win it? Because winning can cost a hell of a lot of money. A number of owners would rather make money than spend money. They'd rather make money than pay what it costs to win. In fact, making as much money as they can often is their Super Bowl. It's about the money, not the ring. Not the Rams, though. These dudes want to win badly. Les Snead, Sean McVay, the rest of that organization, ownership, they're hungry as hell. And they're willing to make sacrifices. They're willing to take risks. They're willing to take even bigger swings. I mean, essentially anything and everything to get a chip. They're willing to push everything they have right to the center of the table to do it. How many other teams can say that? Hell, is there even one other team in that league that is as bold and as committed as the Rams are to getting the Lombardi? I'm not sure there is. I know this. There's not another team in that league that does business the way the Rams do. And I mean that in the best possible way. A lot of other teams in other sports will not even make trades. They won't make the big deal because it's easier, it's safer, it's cheaper to hold on to your draft picks and then keep selling your fans about this idea of salary cap flexibility. We're developing our young talent. Rams are like, screw that. We're in Los Angeles. It's a star-driven town. We built the most beautiful house in the world. Just being good is not good enough in this town. Anything short of a Super Bowl is a disaster. We want to be legends. And to be a legend, you've got to be bold as hell. And you got to win it all. And you have to do it more than once. And we're willing to pay the price to do it. And we really don't give a damn how much it costs. Good thing, too. Because Stafford does not come cheap. In fact, he cost them a hell of a lot. But they just upgraded the position dramatically. And at the same time, they were able to offload Goff's contract, which is pretty impressive. Everything about what they do or what they're doing right now to me is impressive. Like the Rams have averaged 11 wins a season since McVay arrived. They've already been to a Super Bowl. Most teams would be dining out on that for years. They'd coast for a while. They'd talk about that NFC Championship game from a few years back. They'd talk about how close they came to beating Bill Belichick and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Not the Rams. They're pissed that they didn't win that Super Bowl. They're pissed that they didn't get back last year. They're pissed that they didn't get back this year. Very good is not good enough. Hell, there was a report that they were kicking the tires on Aaron Rodgers. Can you imagine how brass that would have been? And then they looked into Deshaun Watson. Again, brass as hell. And they get a deal done ultimately with Matthew Stafford. Even if he was their third choice, even if he was that, it's still brass as hell. Did I say that I respect that? And trust this, Matthew Stafford is an unbelievable fit for McVay in that offense. And yes, I know all the raps on Matthew Stafford. I know that TJ Yates has more playoff wins than he does. I know about the losing. I just don't give a damn. And not just because he's bringing 45,000 passing yards with him from Detroit. And not just because he's had to practically carry a franchise for an entire decade on his shoulders. And almost never played with a productive running back the entire time. And not just because the guy's sharp as hell and he processes info quickly and can read any kind of defense. And not just because you know he's going to be motivated as hell because he's finally going to get a legitimate chance. And not just getting to the postseason, but actually competing for a Super Bowl, because he does get that now in L.A. This is a legit Super Bowl team with Matthew Stafford there. It's a fact. People just don't get it when it comes to this guy. So let me leave it to former NFLer in front of the program, Will Blackman, to set you straight with a tweet. Will tweeted, quote, "People who have never played against or played with Stafford or against him crack me up. Your stats mean nothing. Dude can sling the effing pill with the best of them." End of quote. Well said. He can sling the bleeping pill. That's something the Rams needed. That's something Sean McVay wants. A guy who can sling the bleeping pill. And here is the other thing the Rams get. They're getting the mic'd up king of the NFL. May not be a better mic'd up guy in the league. Who can forget that game against the Cowboys back in 2013? Detroit was down 6, just over a minute left. He led that team on a game-winning drive that included this amazing deke job on the goal line. All the way down the field, running and screaming, clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it. And then he goes over the goal line. Then there was that iconic game against the Browns in 2009. You remember that one, right? When he wrecked his shoulder on the final play of the game. It looked like Detroit was going to lose, but there was a defensive PI. So Detroit was going to get one more play. Stafford had to go to the sideline. Dante Culpepper was coming in for the final play, and then a timeout was called, and then a legend was born. Kind of stuff that endears you to a city. Wait, I mean, he got run over by an 18-wheeler and dragged for 5 miles and didn't miss a play? You mean that kind of stuff? This dude's tough as hell, and he's fearless, and he wants to win badly. You think Sean McVay and the rest of that locker room might rally around a guy like that? And, of course, as long as we're talking great mic'd-up moments, there was that legendary, unbelievable rant directed at the officials after they overturned a pass interference call. First time in the history that's ever happened. Unbelievable. Unbelievable is a great word to describe all this to me. Like the brass of the Rams, the fit of Stafford and McVay's offense, the trade itself. Like, don't just think about it. Don't just talk about it, man. Be about it. The Rams are all about it. All about it. Nobody's more about it. And while it did take 55 years for a team to host the Super Bowl for the first time, it may actually happen 2 years in a row. That's right. Super Bowl 56, right up the road from here in L.A. And it would not surprise me at all if Stafford went from never having won a single playoff game to having a chance to win it all next year. Man, that'd be unbelievable. And, by the way, gave up too much in a trade guy is having a field day this morning. He's already circled week 1 and is hoping like hell the Rams lose that first game and the Lions win. He can't retweet his rants fast enough. My message to that guy, get a grip. Save your Herschel Walker and your Ricky Williams nonsense. I'm not saying that this is necessarily the Lakers getting Anthony Davis, but that's just how things roll in this town. A big banner saying salary cap viability. will not be hanging on that ridiculous palatial stadium anytime soon. That's how you got to do it in this town. And the Rams understand that, and they know that. Could not respect it any more than I do. 1-800-636-8686. Extremely predictable reaction from you clones. Here's one. Chris and St. P. Quote, Matt Fatface has as many playoff wins as I do. Good one, Chris. Fatface. And comparing his number of playoff wins to you, we just talked about this. Yeah, I understand. I understand the numbers. I understand that TJ Yates has more playoff wins than him. I don't give a damn. I really don't care. That's not on, quote, fat face. This guy can sling the bleeping pill. I love it. They tried to get Aaron Rodgers reportedly. They tried to get Deshaun Watson reportedly. Didn't work out. Who's next? Matt Stafford. Get it done. Get it done. Wells, quote, the Rams gave up way too much for Stafford. He won't be a good fit in L.A. until he gets Botox. So tired, man. Come on, do better. Well, Wells, I know you can't do better. The rest of you, though, do better.